Hi there folks, Borislav247 here with another Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 video. And on this video, I'm going to show a few simple scoring methods that will allow you to get high scores quickly and easily. Now, when I talk about high scores, I'm not talking about scores in the millions. Although a score over 1 million is very possible. The scores I am actually talking about are the scores that will destroy any of the 6 scores and easily get you the gold medals on all the Tony Hawk's levels. Now, my scoring methods are very simple to achieve as they do not require an extensive memory of button presses. You do need a little knowledge of 1 or 2 of the fundamentals, but I will explain these in the video. There are some game-changing tips which I will also show before showing the various scoring methods. And as well as this, I will even show 3 runs at the very end of the video where I managed to score combos that get me over 1 million points just using my chosen methods. So, without any further ado folks, let's get to it. Right, and folks, as you can see on screen, my character currently has full stats, but when you play Tony Hawk for the first time, you do not have this luxury. So, the first few methods I'm going to show using one of the pro skaters with their default stats, which aren't fantastic, but as you pick up stat points, they do get better. Now, before I actually get started in showing some other hints and tips, I do want to point this out very quickly. I always have 3 special tricks that I have employed to use. The first one is already in play, which was the 900. The second one is actually selected for me. It's the 368 varial muck twist, but I want to change the button combinations for it. And the third, I need to change this one because I am looking for a very specific special grind move, and it is the Rolly Dark Slide. Now, again, I'm looking for a particular sequence of button presses, ones that I can remember very easily and find easy to do. Because the first of my tips is going to start by showing just how effective a special grind is compared to a standard grind. And honestly, when you see this, folks, you'll realize why I say it's a game changer. Just take a look at this, folks. Right, here's the first game changer, folks. You have to see how a standard grind scores and the time it takes to, say, get to 5,000 points. And then just take a look at a special grind. That one there took over 10 seconds. Just watch this. Already past the 5,000 inside of 3 seconds. And that, folks, is how you get some of these big scores. Right, folks, a huge plus of finishing combos with manuals is that when the balance bar is really on the edge of going off in a big way, if you lose the balance bar to the bottom, you will bail and crash. However, if you lose the bar at the top, you will retain your combo. Very handy to know. Right, folks, I'm going to go into manual mode to show 2 particular tricks that are the exception to the rule. These 2 tricks will only maintain your combo even when you lose the balance bar, as long as you lose the balance bar to the bottom. And I will demonstrate right here. I purposefully let it go down to the bottom, but as you can see, with that particular manual move, you maintain the combo score. And this is the second one, the anti-Casper flip. Again, I've gone into a manual, and then it's these button presses. And as long as you lose it at the bottom, you'll keep the combo. Okay, folks, my last piece of advice is very simple but very effective. Throughout the game, you will acquire stat points, and there will come times when you are wanting to take on the scoring challenges, and there will be other times when you will simply be wanting to collect all the items, doing various objectives. What I suggest is, when you do come to the scoring sections, change the stat points as you feel necessary, because they will only make your job easier. Right now, folks, this is the first of 3 runs that I show using the special grind to manuals method, and they all start the same way. I'm looking to get the special bar on the top left there up to full, and I do this with a simple lip trick, Once I have that special bar up to full, I then start my grind move, and then a quick jump and go into the special grind. Head towards this wall, and it's a double tap of the X followed by the triangle just to go back into a normal grind. From here, another double tap of the X, and then it's either up down or down up on the D-pad. And from here, folks, I'm simply going to finish off with a few button mashes of the square, triangle and circle in order to perform a few manual moves. And as always, I try and make sure I exit via the top of that balance meter. Job done, 350k achieved. Right, folks, the second run actually takes place in a competition skate park. So this one's even easier to take care of than the first. I do the same as before, make sure the special bar is on full, then I'm looking to go straight into a special grind. And from here, I'm just going to follow around this area here, a quick jump off there, going into the manuals, which you do with the up and down. That is one of the fundamentals you must know about. And from here, I'm finishing off this combination with a few manual moves. And worth noting, folks, in order to get to the hand flips that I do there, you first need to go into a handstand, which you do by double tapping the circle button, and then you just constantly double tap the square button, and that will keep those manuals going very nicely, folks. And as you can see, 350k I have there as a score. That is more than enough every time to get a gold score on these skate parks, on any of them in fact. You do have to do more than one run, but that's a damn easy way to do it, folks. Right, folks, the third run that I show that uses the special grind to manuals method is another competition skate park. So I'm going to start as I always do, get that special bar up to full nice and quickly using a lip trick, then I go for the grind, then jump and go to the special grind. And I look to hold it because it's getting that base score up nicely. From here, quick jump off with the X going into the up and down for the manual, then another jump with the X going into another up and down to activate the manual again and keep the combination going. And from here, it's nice and safe to just finish off with a few hand flips. That is, of course, once I have got the handstand in place first with the double tap of the circle, and then it is the double taps with the square button. Nice and easy. And that, folks, has got me a score of over 430,000 points. And that score, folks, will get you a score with the judges of 99.9 every single time on any of the competition parks. I'm not going to show any more of these runs, but that's a perfect example of that method and how good it is. Right, folks, here is the first of two runs that uses the special air to manuals method. And in this method, I'm basically looking for a particular area on this downhill jam level. And from there, once I get to the bottom and I have my special bar at full, which is why I'm grinding here, I am basically going to look to do a 360 varial muck twist, followed by a revert, and then going into a manual. And this is the hardest part of probably any of the methods because the timing needs to be right. It's basically activating the special move. The R2 must be pressed just before you land the trick, and the up down or down up on the D-pad must come into play immediately afterwards. You might have to give it a few goes just to practice to get the timing right for it, but once you do, this is the beauty of it. Doing the varial muck twist basically allows you to land the move even when you have base stats, because that is one of the problems you have with lack of stat points. Right, folks, the second run that I show that uses the special air to manuals method, which uses the varial muck twist, takes place in the mall. And again, I'm just using one or two grinds in order to get that special bar on the top left there up to full. And once it is, that's great. I'm ready to get this method going again. And this spot here on the mall I should say, is the perfect spot to do it. You have plenty of room. Don't quite get the button presses right there, but here we go. Special move. Hit that R2 just before you land, and then up, down, or down, up on the D-pad or the left stick to go into your manuals. And from there, I'm basically looking to finish off with a few manual moves. And as the balance bar is going wild at that point, I have no option but to cut that one quite short. But I'll show here, folks, this is the skater I was using, and you can see at the very bottom there, the manual balance for this one is terrible, hence why that one finished when it did. Right, and folks, from this point in, I am now going to show any of the remaining runs using characters that have maxed out stats to give you an idea of just what can be achieved. And I'm going straight away for one of the characters that I unlocked in Tony Hawk's, which is Officer Dick, aka Jack Black. If you're not sure how to get this character, I do have a video that shows you how to do this, but I've got the tricks already set up that require, so I'm just going to get on with this, folks. Right, when you're maxed out or have much better stats, this is the one that I like to go for. It is the big special air to manuals method. I start by getting the special bar at the top to full, and then the trick that I'm going to go for with this is, you guessed it, the 900, folks. That is the reason why I only have those 3 special tricks. So line yourself up. Get the 900 going, R2 just before you land, then up and down on the D-pad, or down and up on the D-pad, will both get you the manual into place. Yes. And then I do a bit of button mashing here before hitting the circle twice in order to get to the handstand, and then double tapping the square button for the hand flips. And I'm already on quite a decent score here, so I just decide to come out of that with the X button just to jump out of it. And there we go, folks. A fantastic combination score. Right then, folks, for the second run, I choose to show this on the fabulous Venice Beach level. So as always, I'm looking to get that special bar basically fully activated at the top there, and I do that using grind tricks. So from here, I'm looking to turn myself around, get the 900 in play, then the R2 just before landing, and the up and down on the D-pad to activate the manuals. And from there, it is more button bashing before I eventually go to a double tap of the circle, which will get me into the handstand position, and then it's just double tapping the square button for the hand flips. And I'll keep this going for so long until the balance bar starts to get unmanageable. But as you can see there, folks, a very nice score for a very quick run, just shy of 400,000. Right then, folks, the last run that I'm going to show using the big special air to manuals method does have a slight difference. I start, as always, the same way by looking to get that special bar filled on the top left there, and there we go. Do that using a lip trick. From here, I look to get extremely straight on this jump before attempting the 900. Make sure the R2 is pressed just before you land, then up and down on the D-pad. And from here, this is where it all changes, because I basically look to press the circle and square button, which will give me the 2 rail. And from there, I start double tapping the square button, and this gives me the rail flips. Oh, yeah. They are very handy to show because you can basically pull off a great number of them. It's probably the quickest manual move to do. And the big difference with this one is, if you don't press the X to actually jump out of this combo, you've got to make sure that the bar, you lose it at the bottom, not at the top. If you let it go to the top, you will lose your combo. Right, my next method, folks, is special air to grind, and this is very nice to work in the hangar. Now, I'm looking to get that special bar ready. A quick jump over here. Now, I'm looking to activate the special 900. Then very quickly, as soon as that is activated, press R2. Make sure to hit the triangle when you land. Then I go to the special grind. Now I start mashing the buttons, quick jump. Then a jump to the left and do a wally. And then going into a manual. And this, folks, will generate a very nice high base score. And from here, I'm looking just to add to it with a few manuals. As always, a bit of button mashing before I basically go into the handstand and then start double tapping with the square in order to do the hand flips. And there we go, folks. How was that? A very nice score. Close to 1 million for not much work. On to the next one. Right, folks, the next run that I choose to show the special air to grind is actually the Bull Ring, which is the last competition skate park. So as always, I look to get that special meter on full. a 900, and then after that immediately hitting the R2 to try and level out and then catch a grind. I don't manage it the first time, but I do the second. From there I come off straight into the manuals, and from there I'm just looking to finish this off with as many manuals as I can fit in as possible. And I always start the same, mashing a few buttons, combination of the triangle, square and circle, but I eventually go to a double circle tap, which gets me to the handstand, and then double tapping the square, which keeps going with the hand flips. And as you can see, folks, that is a fantastic score that I've just got there for this particular competition, and this should pretty much guarantee a 99.9, which, yep, as you can see right there, folks. Okay, one more method to show before I show the 1,000,000 point scores. Okay, folks, I want to show this one because it doesn't take long to do, and if you're in the position where you actually have an area that you can constantly grind on without having to worry about anything that will kick you off, this is a perfect method to get a nice high score. I make a bit of a meal of it at the start because I'm looking to get a special grind going straight away, and I finally do here. And I'm using the alien just for a little bit of variety. But basically, I'm looking to get that base score around about 20,000. When I do, now I start button mashing with the triangle and the circle, just basically to get that multiplier up as high as I can, as safely as I can. When I feel that the balance meter is starting to go on me, I just jump off, and look at that, folks. Over 500k. Nice. Right then, finally on to my 1,000,000 point runs, which I managed to do using the methods I have basically already shown, albeit I mix up one or two things in the process. But special bar onto full, go into a grind, then into a special grind, and at this point, when I come off this wall, I'm looking to go straight back into that special grind again. It's working on that base score. I come off at that point, but I look to try and keep going by just making sure that that grind gets to that rail. From here, get over to this side, and from here, this is now a combination of the triangle button and the X button, where I'm basically jumping, grinding, jumping, grinding, and this is just purely now working on the multiplier. And I actually, very luckily, managed to land that just before I crash. And there we go, folks, that is the first of my 1,000,000 point scores. The second one is also in the warehouse, but it is done slightly different. Okay, the second run in the warehouse. As always, get that special bar on the top left up to full. I do that with a lip move. Then again, start with a grind, then go to a special grind, but this time I am looking to try and stay on these rails for as long as humanly possible. So again, I need to time that jump a little bit better, which I do this time, just to stay on, but the balance meter is really going at that point, so I jump off, go straight into a manual, and from here now, because I know I've got a very nice base score, all I'm doing is just concentrating on the manuals. Again, more button mashing before I eventually double tap the circle to go to the handstand, and then double tap the square button from there on in for the hand flips. And this one at this point is going very nicely, and yeah, it does get to the stage where it's difficult to hold that that bar, but a very nice score again, folks. Right then, folks, the last run that I'm going to show that earns me 1,000,000 points is basically at the level called school. And I'm looking to amalgamate a bit of everything into this run, so I'm looking to start with a big air, the 900, land it, make sure the manual's in place, and basically hold the balance to get over to that section. Then it's a grind, then a special grind, jump off, making sure that I keep the manual in place, then over onto this grind, followed by 2 jumps, again going into the manual, and I've got enough motion there to get me over to this section, so it's a normal grind, then moving to a special grind. And from here, I know that the balance meter is close to toast because I've been using it so extensively. So I just try and get as many manuals in as I can, going basically with the hand flips at the end. And I basically decide at this point that's enough and come out of it. And there we go. That is a fantastic 1 million point score on the school, which is done reasonably easily. And there we have it, folks. That is my beginner's guide to scoring big on Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2. As you can see, folks, all of my methods are reasonably simple to follow and reasonably simple to execute. And since showing all of these, I've actually started taking on some of the platinum scores for the levels. And as you can see, folks, already, I have got 9 of these completed. And these scores vary from anything from 600,000 to close to 2 million in order to get the job done for these levels. So, as you can see, folks, even for someone like myself, because I do not consider myself an expert on this game at all, I consider myself semi-competent at best. There are a great number of players in the world who are far more skilled and talented than I will ever be on this game. But this is a fantastic guide to get people who are just starting in the right direction, because you can really make light work of all the scoring requirements on all the levels of Tony Hawk's. Now, from here, where do you go? The next step up, folks, realistically from here is not only once you've got the platinum scores, but starting to think about the legend scores. And in order to make this step up, I can't show you that because these methods will not get the job done in any way, shape or form. You really want to be checking out someone with a bit more experience, and it's at this point, folks, that I really want to draw attention to a fantastic YouTuber that goes by the name of Alex Arcs. Now, I'll put the name up on screen just so that you know how it is spelt, just in case my accent is not that clear with it. But all I can say is, folks, if you're wanting to go the next steps and go for some of these really big scores in the high millions, you want to check out this YouTuber. And at that point, folks, that is really the end of this video. All I can say is thank you so much for watching the video, and I hope you all enjoyed it.